Hi, I'm James Creech, and today we're going to be discussing the evolution of creator monetization. I spent the last 10 years of my career working in social media and influencer marketing. As the co-founder and CEO of Paladin, which is an influencer marketing software platform that helps brands and agencies run more effective campaigns, I've seen a lot of changes to creator monetization firsthand. I'm also an investor in and advisor to many early stage companies in the digital media and technology space, specifically several in the creator economy industry. So today we're going to focus on how creator monetization has evolved, what the future holds, and what that means for those of us in influencer marketing. To give you a bit more background on Paladin, we are an official platform partner of Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and TikTok. We build tools to help marketers find the right influencers, manage those relationships, and report back on the campaigns to identify what content is performing and how to optimize future success of their influencer initiatives. And we support customers in over 30 countries across 5 continents. Let's start by framing this discussion in the context of the evolution of social media platforms, right? With social media 1.0, early platforms were a way to have direct messaging and communication, oftentimes between individuals and groups or communities of people you knew in real life, right? So it was bringing this activity and connection online. Social media 2.0 introduced one-to-many broadcast mechanisms. So think of platforms like YouTube, Instagram, and Vine, which turn social networking into content platforms, right? They give us the idea of followers, the first social media influencers, and then notions like discovery and monetization of creator content. We're now in the midst of social media 3.0, which focuses on different forms of self-expression and identity, right? I may choose to express different elements of my personality with friends, acquaintances, even total strangers across Clubhouse, TikTok, Discord, and many of these new or emerging social platforms. We're also witnessing a bit of a rebellion against the social 2.0 ideal of, the picture perfect lifestyle, right? So in many ways, TikTok feels like the anti-Instagram, and a lot of emerging social networks or social platforms are trying to move away from that personality. So we're seeing great innovation and new content opportunities, new monetization opportunities result in these changes to the way that we connect and share content online. With that, we've seen significant shifts in the ways that creators monetize. In the early days, right, YouTube introduced the idea of an advertising revenue share. Its AdSense program allowed creators to produce their content, distribute it broadly, and allow essentially anyone to, quote, broadcast yourself, right? So with YouTube, creators could finally monetize through this advertising, right? It was a passive direct form of monetization. But as new platforms emerged and these platforms started to grow, we saw brands wanting to participate in the space, and that created opportunities for branded content. Soon followed by merch and tipping, right? These kind of ways to directly sell product to your audience or ask them for support. And then now we live in a world where there are an abundance of creator monetization opportunities. We've seen a big rise in subscription as a business model to complement advertising-based models and transactional models. And we're seeing a huge shift towards social shopping or e-commerce online. And that in particular, I think, is going to be the thrust of some big improvements and innovations in creator monetization for the future. So today, the important thing to keep in mind is that creators have more options than ever in terms of how they monetize. And this is being reflected in the monetization arms race that's happening across the platforms, right? Each of these platforms is trying to find ways to support and grow their creator community. We can see this in the rise of creator funds, which now, total billions of dollars being directly contributed to creators globally. And more and more opportunities for direct branded content facilitated through creator marketplaces on the platform, a rise in shopping and e-commerce, both through live streaming and video on demand, the opportunity to tip your favorite creators, and then enhancements to advertising and subscription products available across platforms. As you can see from this chart, some platforms are very sophisticated, right? They're robust, they've evolved, they offer all, or several of these different types of monetization methods. Other platforms are emerging, right? They don't have as many monetization options. Maybe the community of advertisers or branded sponsors or even audience fans, right, hasn't evolved to the point of these other platforms where they're able to support them. And then in some cases, the monetization method doesn't map to the type of content they want to produce. So this chart will never be completely filled out. It won't always be green, but I think over time you will see more and more monetization options available across platforms to support creators, and it will be tailored to the type of solution, the type of content that's offered across those platforms. This chart further breaks down the revenue shares that creator platforms take, right? There's some really interesting takeaways that we can glean from this chart, right? As we analyze the different types of platforms that are available and the revenue shares that they request from the creators. A few things to highlight. Advertising and tipping are by far the most popular monetizations offered across social platforms. Subscriptions and e-commerce tools are growing in popularity, while affiliate marketing, which is related, is still somewhat nascent. The best platforms for direct, meaning on-platform monetization, are YouTube, which is primarily ad-supported, though it's also added transactional and subscription formats in recent years, and OnlyFans, which is primarily subscription and transactional driven. And then finally, you have Twitch, right, which has also both ad-supported and subscription offerings. So I think one of the hallmarks that separates these three platforms, YouTube, OnlyFans, and Twitch, in terms of direct on-platform monetization, is the fact that they have multiple monetization methods, right? So if you think about the three core buckets of advertising, subscription, and transaction, they offer at least two of the three. The worst platforms in terms of direct creator monetization are LinkedIn and Pinterest, neither of which share any ad revenue with the creators. They're both introducing creator funds and trying to find ways to develop the nascent creator communities that are on those platforms, but they didn't start out with a creator-centric strategy in mind, so they're playing a bit of catch-up. The best platforms for off-platform monetization, meaning indirect monetization, would be Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, primarily because that comes through branded content, right? Even if you can't make money directly on TikTok, right, unless you're able to get something from their creator fund or an offer from a brand through the creator marketplace on TikTok, you can still build a significant audience fairly quickly and then use that follower base to work with brands and promote products through influencer marketing. The same is true for Instagram and YouTube. And obviously, those three are the core platforms for influencer marketing campaign today in the B2C space. YouTube and Twitch are unique in that they share more than half of their revenue with creators. I think this is a trend that we're going to have to keep a closer eye on, right? As some of these newer platforms emerge, they've been trying to take more aggressive revenue shares from creators, or they're using short-term discounts, like in the case of Facebook, where they're saying, we'll give 100% of the revenue back to creators through, in this case, at least 2023, as a way to kind of compete and catch up to platforms like YouTube. That's maybe a way to attract creators in the short term, but you need to long-term build healthy, sustainable monetization mechanisms. Facebook and Instagram, on the other hand, are offering limited ad monetization to creators. Although Facebook and Instagram creators can monetize video content through Facebook Watch and IGTV, the in-stream ads result in a 55% revenue share, but they don't share anything from search or display ads, which is actually where Facebook makes most of its money. And it's still early, but if we look for some patterns in this data, we can start to identify some industry standards for creator take rates, right? Advertising revenue shares tend to be about 50 to 55%, largely in the creator's favor. E-commerce transactions, creators are keeping 75 to 80%, so the platforms are taking 20 to 25% to facilitate the transactions. Subscriptions range from 70 to 80%, and then tipping is a bit varied, right? Growth stage companies like Clubhouse give 100% of the tips to the creators. This is a move that's seen as creator friendly, but it also helps eliminate some of the issues on their side, right? They don't have to deal with know your customer compliance or some of the more detailed elements. They can outsource that to a third party if they're not participating in the revenue share. Whereas more established platforms will take, on average, offer a 70 to 80% revenue share to the creators, so they're taking 20 to 30% to facilitate the tipping features on their platforms. Sometimes this is obfuscated, right, through Facebook, where you can buy their on-platform virtual currency, so Facebook stars, or bits on Twitch, are good examples in which you're paying for this virtual currency with a credit card, and then you're using that to tip the creators that you like. And oftentimes tipping is very popular in live streaming, but we haven't seen the same level of adoption for tips in VOD content or other types of posts like carousels, stories, things like that. Maybe that will change in the future. Now, again, the key thing to keep in mind is that not every monetization model will make sense for every platform, nor for every creator, but it's important to note that platforms are seeking to offer more options and developing a robust creator monetization strategy to attract and retain the best creators. So now let's look at the future of creator monetization, right? We've had advertising, subscription transactions for a long time. What's coming next? I believe that direct-to-consumer monetization is the fastest growing revenue stream for creators, right? Some really interesting examples of this in practice are user polls, right? There's a screenshot here from The New, which is an emerging platform, a startup company that's trying to help creators monetize questions they can ask their fans, right? This can be very basic, simple quizzes like which outfit to wear, what to eat for breakfast, or more complex decisions that really impact the creators' lives and relationships. Influencers are asking, for instance, should I break up with my boyfriend? And allowing their fans to vote on the decision. And of course, the more you pay, the more you get to your votes will count. We're also seeing huge investments in social commerce. More and more platforms are making partnerships with Shopify and other kind of shopping platforms. They're building native shopping tools, highlighting those tabs very prominently in their desktop and mobile environments. And so, this has been a bit of a leading indicator from the East for a long time, specifically China. The amount of social commerce activity is massive. We're seeing, a multi-trillion-dollar opportunity, which is differentiated from the multi-billion opportunity we see in subscription and advertising. So online shopping and social commerce is increasingly coming to social media and to the creator economy. So influencers are getting on board, whether they're launching their own products, doing affiliate marketing, or selling some of their favorite products from brands in the videos. They're increasingly going to lean on those integrations as a way to transact. And then finally, you have crypto projects and non-fungible tokens, or NFTs, which some creators are turning to as this new frontier for building digital assets or virtual goods to sell to their fans. A good example of this is Logan Paul's Crypto Zoo project, which launched this month and allows his fans and other NFT enthusiasts to buy eggs that hatch into animals that he can then, they can then breed in terms of collecting and creating new animal species, right? So it's a virtual game analogous to something like Pokemon or Tamagotchi, but it's all facilitated through blockchain technology and leveraging crypto and centralized finance through these unique NFT projects. So what does this mean for influencer marketing, right? For those of us who are practitioners, we want to understand, how does this translate to our business, right? So here's the traditional marketing funnel. We can think about things like awareness, consideration, conversion. And when we started in influencer marketing 7-8 years ago, we were running campaigns that were primarily focused on top of funnel, right? Driving impressions, views, and engagements. Increasingly, I'm seeing brands and their agency partners looking for influencer to be a performance marketing channel. So they want to go beyond the top of funnel or the vanity metrics and translate this into purchase consideration, intent, sales, right, and ROI. They want to measure what is the uplift or the actual direct translation to revenue that these influencer activations are delivering. So, increasingly the social platforms are going to offer tools for this, and then third parties like us at Paladin are building better ways to measure the funnel and optimize influence marketing performance. This is also important as creators turn to new monetization methods. They realize the power they have to harness their audience and drive sales and products. That's why we're seeing this trend towards social commerce and influencers launching their own products and building brands around them. So as we move down funnel, we're going to see things like conversion, loyalty, and ultimately advocacy. Can we turn a customer, a user who identified our brand or our product through social, through influencer content, into someone who not only becomes a repeat customer and is satisfied with their purchase, but also might share that message through word of mouth and referrals, right? That's ultimately building the most virtuous cycle for an influencer campaign and leading to longer term initiatives and brand ambassadorships, which aren't just one-off activations, but it's a brand and an influencer coming together to build these bespoke partnerships that might last longer periods of time, often like a year or more. And I think the most sophisticated and successful influencer campaigns are those that bring together brands and influencers to create something truly unique, something that neither the brand nor the influencer could create on their own. So that means the brand has to contribute more than just money, and the influencer has to bring to bear more than just, its audience and its creative strategy. They need to work together to develop something really unique and an offer that aligns with the influencer's audience, right? The fans have to care. It needs to be authentic. They need to believe in the product and have, true alignment and interest in that offer. So we've seen great examples of that. And I think as we continue to move more towards a performance marketing channel with always on spend, you'll see influencer activations start to change and shift into that, that mindset. And then we can build tools to support that and optimize for conversion and ROI activity over time. This has been kind of a whirlwind tour through the elements of creator monetization and how it's changed over time. Obviously, we're still in early innings, so we've got a long way to go. I think we're going to continue to see platforms build out direct monetization. We're going to see continued changes in off-platform or indirect monetization. You're going to see creators launching businesses, building brands around their online communities. And as new social platforms emerge, they need to start off with a monetization first strategy. It's not enough anymore to build a platform where people can attract an audience. You have to have a creator monetization strategy from day one. So it's important for us to think about that in the context of influencer marketing. Know how do the creators that we work with make money, and how can we align their business interests with those of the brands that we help them work with. If this type of stuff is interesting for you, I hope that you'll follow me on LinkedIn. I share daily insights about what's happening in digital media, entertainment, influencer marketing. I've published series like these graphs and charts before, and also a monthly digest of the latest features and monetization options available through the social platforms. In addition to that, I also host a podcast called All Things Video, where I interview entrepreneurs and thought leaders who are innovating at the bleeding edge of our industries and the convergence between media and technology specifically. And finally, if you want to learn more about Paladin or check out our software, you can visit our website, paladinsoftware.com. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I'd love to chat with you more.